Hi, Steve Barnes here with Fire Dance and Magic and all those good things. This little daily commentary is brought to you by the Magic Formula, which you can check out at www.realheroesjourney.com. Quote for the day. First of all, breathe. That's the most important initial part of this system. The system will not make sense to you if you're not doing this. So every hour on the hour, 60 seconds of deep, slow diaphragmatic breathing. Do this at least 5 times a day. Quote, think about every good thing in your life right now. Free yourself of worrying. Let go of the anxiety. Breathe. Stay positive. All is well. It's from Germany Kin. Had to block someone on Facebook today. This person thought that they had the right to splain to me an issue, and after several warnings, refused to back away. So I told them that I needed an apology, or they needed to go away. They refused to listen. That was that. Splaining seems to be a useful word when the prefix describes the power dynamic involved. The ones I see most often include mansplaining, that's the famous one, where man is using his direct or indirect sense of authority against women, chiefly. Womansplaining, where woman is using her direct or indirect sense of authority against men. White splaining, where white people are using their sense of primacy and authority to tell black people what they are or should be. Those are the three that I see, and you undoubtedly see others. I'm quite certain there are aspects of this that relate to class, sexual preference or identity, size and strength, degrees of ableness and neurotypicality, and so forth and so on. Human beings use every form of power they have to control their environment, to escape suffering and gain pleasure. If they believe that they get these things from manipulating other people, then they will try to manipulate you. I tolerate this as long as they're courteous, but will point out when they violate the three gates. They can do that on their time, in their own homes, and on their own threads. Yesterday, I asked a question about a particular belief. Had anyone ever had a useful conversation with a person with belief X? Not one person said they had. So let's assume this is true. If it is true that you've never been able to have a useful conversation with someone with belief X, wouldn't it make sense to ask them directly if that is their belief? And then if it is, stop the conversation? Wouldn't that save you a great amount of time? I mean, they can lie, of course, but then they're stuck. Every subsequent comment they make will misalign with their stated position, and you can actually have fun pointing out that incongruity, or use them as a lesson to others, or safely disengage. You can assume that they are snakes, pretending belief Y, say human equality, while actually all their arguments and perspectives only make sense if they believe X. For instance, racial superiority of one group over another. I've seen that one countless times in my life. You can save yourself thousands of hours over the course of your life simply by asking yourself what positions, comments, questions, beliefs flow from different assumptions, even if those assumptions are buried. Now, you certainly can be wrong, so if you disengage, do it with courtesy, but this is a wonderful way to detect and avoid trolls and snakes. Now, remember the three gates as applied to politics and the kind of social argumentation that represents. One, love yourself. Love yourself enough to be willing to look deeply into who you are, warts and all, but also be willing to fight to protect your time and energy. Two, love one other person. If you are frustrated in your relationship, remembering that this was the best you could do is pretty sobering. Relationships are a mirror. If you don't believe your partner mirrors you, leave. If you cannot, you have to factor in your fear and lack of self-control and respect to the overall equation. You're not better than them unless you leave. The victim-predator balance exists in nature everywhere you look. If you accept that duality, you will learn much about your own strengths and weaknesses in your relationship with your beloved. Three, understand humanity without guilt, blame, or shame. I start with the notion of equality between races and genders, with some wiggling around for reproductive roles. That has made sense of everything I've seen my entire life. You'll need to find your own way of understanding war, poverty, violence, cruelty, but in the context of peace, plenty, healing, and kindness. If you love yourself, you can be at peace with yourself, accept your flaws, know that everything, you were always doing the best you could with the resources you had, that any wrong you did to people probably flowed from your fear, your sense of disconnection from love or the divine. Extend this to others, and you have the foundations of a good life. So long as you love yourself enough to trigger your survival drive, make sure to start there. This openness will give you far more pleasure than pain. 4. Avoid snakes. Nurture your tribe. Sleepers are simply people who are unaware, and it's best to remember that we are all asleep to some facts and realities at different points in our lives, and right now. But snakes know that they're lying and manipulating, and do it deliberately to achieve their objectives. In a sense, they are sleepers as well, because they have mistaken the fool's gold of life, the external glittery things, for the real wealth of health, love, and evolution. Or to put it another way, their spiritual connection. I feel sorry for them, but never forget that they will bite the children if you aren't careful. It is these people who you have to devise careful means of detecting. 5. Win with integrity, but win. Remember to maintain the 3 gates. Do all you can to determine truth and then take a stand. Do all you can to be kind, but remember that strength enables life. And do all you can to be efficient and effective, constantly measuring your results against your expectations and adjusting your map, as well as your actions. These are the thoughts that arise from looking at the 3 gates in the magic formula. The formula demands that you find the right mentors and maps, take massive action while constantly measuring results, deliberately fill yourself with gratitude for past blessings, clarify your intentions until they are crystal clear. How else will you know if your actions are efficient and effective? And constantly ask if your daily actions are aligned with both your long-term goals and your deepest values, your core. You have all the time and energy required to get everything you really need in life, but none to waste. And remember, snakes know that if they can slow you down, they win. This is Steve Barnes. It's time for me to get to work. I have a ton of work to do today, but I like having these little messages with you, these little conversations. If you'd like to know more about how I think about these things, pick up The Magic Formula, your guide to earning a black belt in life, at www.realheroesjourney.com. Take care.